All right, so remember, we are currently talking about transitions, and we use transitions constantly all day, every day, without even noticing it. We did the first 2 pages together, and yesterday we also walked through the display and engage. So remember, your page must look like my page. Even though you're not turning it in, I still want you to have these done. That way you can use it on your quiz. So remember, yesterday we talked about just regular transitions like next, first, finally, afterwards, etc. Then we moved on to reasons or purposes for transitions. Remember, it's either time order, which shows us, first, next, later, soon, whatever. Compare and contrast. Compare is how they're the same. Contrast is how they're different. And those were things like eventually, then, unlike, like, similarly, in contrast to, moreover, although. Then there was also cause and effect, which is either there as a result of, consequently, unless, and if. And remember, some of them, more than one sounded good. So specifically for this fourth one, I said therefore, as a result, or consequently. I would have accepted either one of those. So as we're doing this, remember, it's okay if you put it it's sometimes more than one can fit, and that's fine. So we also talked a little bit about how, depending on what style of writing you use, depends on why is this not bolded? Depends on how or depends on which transition you use. So in opinion writing, you use transitions such as these. In informative, you use those. Narrative are more like stories. So here's an example of an informational text. They use things like although, in addition, for example. I'm giving you real life things. So now we're going to insert transitions to connect ideas in each paragraph. So I'm going to read the paragraph, then we're going to fill in all the blanks. I'm going to write a report about Sybil Luddington. Blank, I will reread the selection. Blank, I will check the internet. Blank, I will check other books for more information. Blank, I will take notes on what I find. Blank, I will write up my report. Blank, I will hand it in. So that is the first one. There are 2, 4, 6 blanks. So what might be a word to fit in my first blank? I'm going to write a report on Sybil Luddington. Blank, I will read the selection. What might fit there? Marissa? Blank, I will reread the selection. No. This is in the beginning of the paragraph, which should give us a hint. Rochelle? Yes. First, I will reread the paragraph. Blank, I will check the internet. What might come after first? Nolan? Then I will check the internet. Blank, I will check other books for more information. What could come after then? We don't want to use then again. So could it be something like Ava? I do not think so. Try again, Angelina. Yeah. So far, first I will reread the selection. Then I will check the internet. Next, I will check other books for more information. Blank. Oh wait, then it says, blank, I will take notes on what I find. Rochelle? I would say either next or again and then. Or again and then. Because I want finally, I will hand it in. That should be our last one. So lastly or finally should be there. So I would say then again, I'll turn in my notes. And then maybe lastly, I will write my report. Finally, I will turn it in. Okay, that's what I would personally put. So now it says, I'm going to write a report on Sybil Luddington. First, I will rewrite the selection. Then I will check the internet. Next, I will check other books for more information. Then I will take notes on what I find. Lastly, I will write up my report. Finally, I will hand it in. Okay? So remember, your page should look like my page. So Ella, you should be typing every single one of these. Because if we're done with this and I come and check your computer and it's not done, Mrs. Knifel's going to be very upset. I know how to do these. This is not for my benefit. This is so you can do good on your grammar test this week. Ella, you were not even in the right spot. That does not make me happy. Get to this page. And then we have another one. Sybil Luddington is a great role model for students. Blank, she was smart. Blank, she thought of taking a stick to knock on doors. Blank, she didn't have to waste time getting off her horse. She showed courage, blank, in the way she fearlessly rode through the rainy night. Okay. So, anyone want to start us out? Sybil Ludington is a great role model for students. Blank, she was smart. Rochelle? I'm going to say first of all, because this is the very beginning. First of all, she was smart. And then I would say what you said. For example, she thought of taking a stick to knock on doors. Blank, she didn't have to waste time getting off her horse. What would go there? Evan? No. I'm saying, for example, she took a stick to knock on doors. Blank, I want to know why she didn't why did she use that? Why did she use a stick? Blank, she didn't have to do something. So she didn't have to waste time getting off her horse, okay? So first of all, she was smart. For example, she thought of taking a stick to knock on doors. So she didn't have to waste time getting off her horse. She showed courage in the way she fearlessly rode through the rainy night. What could go there? So this is like informational writing, just for the record, kind of. We have, for example, things like that. So what should go there? Should it be she showed courage also in the way she fearlessly rode? She showed courage in fact the way she rode? She showed courage in addition to the way she fearlessly rode through the night? She showed courage especially in the way she fearlessly rode through the night? She showed courage besides in the way she rode fearlessly through the night? Anyone? For Kayla? I was going to say something else. Michaela, you knew it was you. What would you like to say? No. Although means she was courage, and we're not even counting the fact that she rode fearlessly through the night. That's saying, like, Mrs. Kneifel's nice, although sometimes she gets mad at me. Those are two different things. Although would not fit. Hannah. No, that's the exact same thing as the other one. You're separating the two when they're the same. Molly? Yeah. She showed courage, especially in the way she fearlessly rode through the night. Toot toot. Remember, yours should look like mine. Ella, does yours look like mine right now? How can we do good on our test if you're not even going to have anything to help you? You should be doing what I'm doing. All right, and now we have some more, this one is transitions in the writing, and we're going over the time order comparison, cause and effect again. So, if we're looking at time order, here's our things. If we're looking at comparing how they're the same or contrast how they're different, these are what we'd use. Cause and effect, this causes this. So blank the soldiers, blank found BJ. He was just a ball of fur. Ava. Yep. When the soldiers blank found BJ. So if it's when, we know that's time order. So is it when the soldiers before found BJ, when the soldiers now, when the soldiers next, when the soldiers later, when the soldiers finally, when they then, eventually, soon, first? We already used when. What would we say next? Molly? When the soldiers first found BJ, he was just a ball of fur. That totally works. Blank, BJ grew into a fine young dog. What could we put there? Rochelle? Then could work. You could also say maybe finally or eventually. Not finally. We could say then or eventually, something like that. But then works. Then BJ grew into a fine young dog. Blank other dogs his age, he was well behaved from the beginning. So this is a compare or contrast. Blank other dogs his age, he was behaved from the beginning. So we're saying he was behaved contrasting to other dogs. So what word could go right here, Michaela? No, because it's different. Yeah. So unlike other dogs his age, he was behaved from the beginning. Because we're contrasting. Blank the soldiers took him everywhere. So he's behaved, which means they can take them anywhere. So that's cause and effect. So is it because the soldiers took him ever? As a result, the soldiers took him everywhere. Consequently, the soldiers took him everywhere due to the soldiers took him everywhere. Although, Angelina? Yeah, that would totally work. As a result, because he's so well behaved, the soldiers took him everywhere. Blank, that shouldn't be uppercase. Blank the war came to an end. So this is a time one. What? When something comes to an end, what could we say there? Someone I haven't talked to. Nolan, what can I put there? It's something to do with time. Which would be in this box. Eventually the war came to an end. That would work. Or you could have also said finally. One of those would work too. Finally, eventually, later. Blank BJ needed a new home. Okay, so this is cause and effect. The war ended. Blank BJ needed a new home. What could fit there, Rochelle? That would be time order. This is cause and effect. The war ended. Now he needed a new home. So is it because he needed a new home? As a result, he needed a new home. Consequently, he needed a new home. Or due to he needed a new home. Although, Zach? Due to? No. Due to BJ needed a new home does not make sense. Evan, you try. That is literally what he just said. No, we're doing cause and effect. It has to be in this box. Kylan. That one, as a result, came to a war. I think you could make that one work, but we already used as a result of here, so I would rather use a different one. Nolan? No, that would mean no. That would be BJ had a home, although he needed a new one. No, he doesn't have a home. Marissa? Yeah, the war ended. Now the consequence of that is he needs somewhere to live. So as a result could have worked, but since we already used that, I don't want to use it again. No, because they're separate sentences. Eventually the war came to an end, period. We don't start sentences with because, so it'd be just be because BJ needed a new home. So if the sentence was worded differently, maybe, but it didn't work in that one. Several soldiers wanted to take him with them. Blank, the choice was narrowed down to one. This is compare and contrast. What could fit here? Several of them wanted to take him. Blank, the choice was down to one. Julian, stop playing with stuff and tell me what the answer is, sir. Everyone wants to take him. Blank, only one can do it. This is compare and contrast. Has to be in one of these, in this box. I would do although, well, no, although is not cause and effect. I would say but. Several soldiers wanted to take him with them, but the choice was narrowed down to one. That's what I would put. That one would be the most flowy. BJ bravely boarded the plane with his new master. Blank, he had never been on one before. BJ bravely boarded the plane with his new master. Blank, he had never been on one before. Michaela? I just used but. I don't want to use but again. Rochelle? No. Marissa? No. How do we speak? Would we say BJ bravely boarded the plane with his master? Also, he's never been on one? No, that's not how we speak. We need to think how we speak. Ava. Yeah, although he was brave and he boarded the plane, although he's never even been on one. Blank, his journey was over. He was with his, oh, this is supposed to say forever. Blank, his journey was over. He was in his forever home at last. There's a couple that could fit here. This is time. Hannah? Yeah, you could say finally or eventually. Any of those would work there. Okay, so now let's read the whole thing and make sure it makes sense. When the soldiers first found BJ, he was just a ball of fur. Then, BJ grew into a fine young dog. Unlike other dogs his age, he was well behaved from the beginning. As a result, the soldiers took him everywhere. Eventually, the war came to an end. Consequently, BJ needed a new home. Several soldiers wanted to take him with them, but the choice was narrowed down to one. BJ bravely boarded the plane with his master, although he had never been on one before. Finally, his journey was over. He was in his forever home at last. Yay! Did everyone see how in that short paragraph we used so many transitions? We used... Julian, put it away for the second time in 5 minutes. We use transitions constantly, even if we don't necessarily realize that we're doing it. And of course, our final page is same as always. We read our paragraph and we figure out how we can make the sentences better. So, Jeremy wrote a report about soldiers in the Revolutionary War. Read his paragraph and look for any revisions he should make. Then answer the questions that follow. Soldiers camping. The new recruits marched many miles before they set up camp. After they cooked their dinner over the campfire, they cleaned their rifles. While some of the recruits wrote letters home, others patched their boots. They went to sleep. For a while, the camp was quiet and still. They woke up, they ate breakfast, and they prepared for battle. That's a lot of days. How could we fix sentence 4 needs a transition. Which of the following transitions could you add to the beginning of the sentence? So sentence 4, they went to sleep. Should it be, however, they went to sleep, before they went to sleep, then they went to sleep, make no changes? Hannah? No. Because they already wrote letters home and patched their boots. So this is after they've done that. Olive? Yeah. So they wrote letters home, they patched their boots, then they went to sleep. All right, then. What change, if any, should be made to sentence 6? Sentence 6 is they woke up, they ate breakfast, and they prepared for battle. Should it be add a transition to the beginning of the sentence? The next morning, they woke up, they ate breakfast, they prepared for battle. Should it be add the transition to the beginning of the sentence? 3 days earlier, they woke up, they ate breakfast, they prepared for battle. Add the transition to the beginning of the sentence. However, they woke up, they ate breakfast, they prepared for battle. It does not make no changes. And it is definitely not B. Like, we're not talking about 3 days earlier. So it is either A or C. What do we think? Zach? A. Yes. The next morning, they woke up, they ate breakfast, they prepared for battle. So you should have C and B highlighted, or C and A highlighted. Does anyone have any questions over any of this? Like I said, tomorrow we will not have a live grammar because we have Mrs. Bunch. No live grammar tomorrow because we have Mrs. Bunch. Thursday, you'll be taking your spelling test and your grammar test. It's really important that hopefully you follow along during this. That way you have this for your quiz on Thursday. Remember, it's on Thursday because we don't have school on Friday. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, no, maybe so? All right, I am going to say goodbye to all of you online. So long, farewell. This will be posted, of course. Thank you for joining.